I want to tell you about the sound of my house at 11 at night. There isn't one. That's the point. The dishwasher has finished. The heater has cycled off. Whatever was happening on the street has stopped happening. The house arrives at a kind of stillness that it doesn't have at any other hour, and I sit down in it, and I think, good, finally, quiet. And then my mind starts, not gently, not like a thought arriving, like something that has been waiting all day for a turn to speak and has just now been handed the microphone. The conversation from Tuesday, the thing I said wrong, the bill, the person I should have called, the question I've been not asking myself for about 6 months, which apparently has been sitting in the hallway this entire time. Maybe you know this. Maybe your house gets quiet too, and that's exactly when you get loud. Maybe you've spent years thinking the same thing I did, that something in you switches on at night and that whatever it is, it's a problem. I don't think that anymore. And I want to tell you why, because I think we have all been getting this backwards. Stay with me. Let me describe it the way it actually happens, because I think the description matters more than any explanation. It starts with relief. That's the part nobody mentions. You are genuinely glad the day is over. You sit down, and there's a moment, 5 seconds, maybe 10, where the quiet is exactly what you wanted it to be. And then something in you fills it. It isn't dramatic. It's not a crisis. It's more like a room you didn't know was full. You put down the noise you'd been carrying, and underneath it, there is a whole day of things you never got around to feeling. And they don't come one at a time, politely. They come the way water comes when you finally open the door on a room that's been holding it. And here is what I've noticed about the timing. It is never the important things first. It's the small ones, the tone of voice someone used, the email you sent too fast, the look on a face you couldn't read and told yourself not to worry about. The small ones come first, and they bring the big ones with them. By midnight, you're not thinking about your day anymore. You're thinking about your life. For a long time, I treated this as evidence of a malfunction. I thought there was something wrong with the wiring. Everybody else seemed to lie down and simply stop, and I would lie down and start. And I did what I imagine you've done. I looked for ways to make it quit. I told myself to stop. I tried to argue the thoughts down. I made deals with myself about not thinking about certain things after 10 o'clock, which is exactly as effective as it sounds. Nothing worked. And the fact that nothing worked became its own piece of evidence. If I couldn't stop it, and other people apparently could, then whatever was broken in me must be fairly serious. That's the story most of us are carrying about this. That the loud mind is a defect. That there's a correctly functioning version of a person who lies down at night and goes quiet. And we are the malfunctioning kind. I don't believe that story anymore. And the thing that changed it wasn't a solution. It was a question I hadn't thought to ask. The question was, what if my mind isn't getting louder? Think about the volume of an ordinary day. There's the work, the people, the traffic, the list of things that have to happen before 6, the phone, the other phone, the part of your attention that's always half tracking whether you're on time. There is somebody who needs something from you at nearly every hour, and even in the gaps, there's a screen willing to fill the space so completely that you never once have to be alone with yourself. That is a very loud house, and you live in it all day. Now here's the thing I finally understood, and I want to put it plainly. Your mind is running the whole time, all day. It has been thinking about the thing you said wrong at 9 in the morning since 9 in the morning. It has been carrying the question you've been avoiding for 6 months, for all 6 of those months. None of it starts at 11 at night. You just couldn't hear it. The house was louder than you were, so the mind was down there, running the whole day, underneath everything. And the noise of ordinary life sat right on top of it like a hand over a mouth. And then the house goes quiet, and you can finally hear the thing that was there all along. I want to sit with that for a second, because it changes what's actually happening. If the mind gets loud at night, then night is the problem, and the goal is to make it stop. But if the mind was always at that volume, and the only thing that changed is that the house finally got quiet enough to hear it, then nothing is starting. Nothing is going wrong. What you are experiencing at 11 at night is not the arrival of a problem. It's the arrival of hearing. And I think we've all made the same mistake about it. We felt something get suddenly, uncomfortably audible, and we assumed that meant it had suddenly appeared. We heard the volume of our own life for the first time all day and called it a symptom. You didn't develop a loud mind. You got a quiet hour. Now, I want to be honest with you, because this isn't a magic trick and I'm not going to pretend it is. Understanding this does not make the hour comfortable. The things that get audible when the house goes quiet are, very often, the things you've been arranging your day around not hearing. That's not an accident. The reason the noise works is that it's covering something. And when it lifts, what's underneath is the honest state of your life, which most of us are managing not to look at directly for extremely good reasons. Some of what surfaces is small and will be gone by morning. And some of it is the true thing, the thing you actually need to face and haven't. It waits for the quiet, because the quiet is the only place it can get a word in. So no, it isn't pleasant. I'm not going to tell you it becomes pleasant. But I stopped fighting it, and something did change. Because when I believed the loudness was a malfunction, I was doing 2 things at once every night. I was hearing the thoughts, and I was fighting the fact that I was hearing them. And the second one was worse. The second one is what turned a quiet hour into a bad night. It's the arguing that exhausts you, not the hearing. When I stopped treating the hour as an intruder, it became not easy, just less of a fight. I'm still awake with it some nights. I just don't argue with it anymore. So here's where I've landed after a lot of years of 11 o'clocks. There is nothing wrong with your mind at night. There is something loud about your days. And I don't say that as an accusation, because I don't think most people chose the volume. It got chosen for us, by the work, by the obligations, by the fact that there is now always something available to fill a silence. Almost none of us are ever alone with ourselves anymore. Not really, not until the house finally shuts up around 11 and we accidentally are. And then the mind that's been talking all day, unheard, finally gets to say the thing it's been saying since morning. And we call that overthinking. I'd like to offer you a different name for it. That hour is the only time all day you can actually hear yourself. That's not a small thing to have. It's an uncomfortable thing. I won't pretend otherwise. But the discomfort isn't a sign that something's broken. It's the sound of an honest volume, and you've been living so far above it for so long that hearing it feels like an alarm. It isn't an alarm. It's just you, at full volume for the first time since morning. You don't have to fix that. I never did. I just stopped calling it a problem and started calling it what it was. The quiet doesn't make you loud. It just stops covering the fact that you already were. Tell me in the comments, is your mind loud when the house goes quiet? I'd like to know, because I think there are more of us awake at 11 than any of us realize. And if you want to sit with me again, subscribe. I'll be here. I'm Daniel. I'll see you in the late hours.